Hello everyone. To my subscribers, I would like to thank you and welcome you back. If you are new here, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any more of my uploads. Today's story is pretty wild. Two college girls were driving home and witnessed a UFO. The series of events that followed are hard to explain away. I hope you thoroughly enjoy this video. Now let's begin. Hey, this will not be very long, but I believe it will interest you. I hope you read this. When I was 22 years old, I'm 39 now, I was in college. I won't say where because I still live in the area. I was at a party one night, hanging about with people from school. I had promised one of my girlfriends I'd go and I would drive her home. We shared a house together with two other girls. She was the party animal. I didn't drink or smoke or do anything like that. I still don't. It was about 12 at night when I finally convinced her it was time to go. That was after about 1.5 hours of trying to drag her out of there. She was not that intoxicated. She only had a few drinks, but she is a social butterfly. Still is to this day. We are still best friends, but we are the complete opposite of each other. Anyway, we got out to my 95 Toyota Camry and got in. One of the guys came up to her window and they talked for another 15 minutes until I convinced her again it was time to leave. I was tired and I still had to do some studying. We left that house at about 12:25, if I had to guess. The drive back home was about 35 minutes. The people who hosted the party lived out in what I guess you would consider to be the country. For the first 10 minutes or so, we just talked about the party and all the guys she had crushes on, girl stuff, you know? We pulled into a fuel center and I got gas. Well, she went in and got us each a large coffee since we were going to be up studying. Then we left the gas station and headed home. About 5 minutes after leaving the gas station, we were out in what felt like the middle of nowhere. The gas station had been the only thing on this highway, except for the occasional house. We approached the pass. That's where you go through this 10-mile stretch of road between two mountains. They were not really big mountains, but more like extremely big, rocky hills. It's pitch black going through there, and it gets really foggy. Now, this is where it happens. We see a really bright light coming towards us from just over the rock face. It is going pretty fast and losing altitude. We both noticed this and began talking about it and trying to figure out what it was. We both have driven through this pass many times late at night and never seen anything like it. As this thing approached closer, still going very fast, she suggested I pull over and we try to see what it is. I really didn't want to stop. Me being the boring person I am, I really just wanted to get home and study. She insisted. She even said, "What if it's like a UFO or something?" I pulled to the side of the road and this thing, this light, just came right at us, getting lower and lower until it was just above the trees on the opposite side of the road. At that time, we both had to cover our ears. We were both struck with tinnitus, or ringing in the ears. It was bad. I said, "Let's get out of here," and she agreed. When we were back in the car, we both leaned forward to take a look at it. By this time, it was just slightly in front of us and above the car. We were both able to very clearly make out that it was a giant tube, probably as long as the football field on campus. The whole field with the end zones and everything. It was a long tube and hollow in the middle. We could see the fog being sucked into the hollow center at the front closest to us and being exhausted out of the back end of the tube. At this point, there were flickering lights, and I remember being hit with the strongest sensation of deja vu that I had ever felt in my entire life. Normally, deja vu gets me nervous or panicky, but this time I was just so calm. Then, we woke up the next morning. We were running through the house blasting music like we always do when getting ready for class or work, when my friend, who was with me, came up to me and said, "Hey, come here, I need to talk to you." She pulled me aside into her bedroom and shut the door. My heart sunk because I thought she was going to tell me that she was pregnant. I immediately got some tears in my eyes because I knew that would mess up everything she had been working so hard for the past 3 years. But then she said, "This is going to sound really weird, and I know I had a few drinks last night, but I wasn't drunk or anything. But do you remember coming home?" I laughed and was about to say yes when I realized I did not remember coming home at all. All I remember was getting back in the car and looking at that aircraft. I asked her if she remembered the aircraft, and she said, "Of course I do, but that is the last thing I remember." I said, "Me too. How come we didn't even bring this up this morning? We've been up for almost 2 hours." She replied that she had no idea how we had forgotten. At that moment, one of our other roommates started yelling for us to come here for something. I forgot what now, but I told her that we would talk about this on the way to class. Don't tell them being our other roommates. We finished getting ready and headed to class. It only took a few minutes to get to campus, so we parked and we talked for about 15 minutes while she smoked. We remembered everything vividly from the night: the party, the fuel center, the light, the aircraft, what it looked like, the flashing lights, the ringing in our ears. She even said, before I had said anything about experiencing it, that she had a really strong feeling of deja vu right when we had gotten back into the car. And then nothing after that. We just suddenly were waking up the next morning, and not until she started thinking about it 2 hours after being up did we even figure it out. Her and I are still best friends to this day. We still live in the same county, just the next town over. We both work in the same hospital, and we spend a lot of time together. Over the years, each of us have had very similar dreams of being inside a very sterile, bright, but light blue tinted room with very, very short doctors working on us, doing some kind of procedure to our head and mostly using tools and entering through our nostrils. Another very odd thing that we both relate this incident to is that I, 26 months after this thing happening, was diagnosed with a benign but inoperable brain tumor. Then, just 4 months later, she was diagnosed with a benign, inoperable brain tumor in the exact same spot. My brain tumor just suddenly vanished 6 weeks after being diagnosed, and hers just 4 weeks after being diagnosed. To this day, we are not really sure what happened that night. Not for sure, but with the memories we have and what we saw, we have both come to the conclusion that it is more than likely that we were abducted. We think we might have been abducted and something was done inside of our heads that ultimately led to us having the exact same tumors that disappeared the exact same way. We will never know for sure. Her and I both agreed not too long after this happened that we would never speak of this to anyone. We have since agreed and told our husbands, but beyond that, we never wanted to risk our reputations, our careers, nothing, to tell a story that we don't even have all the answers to. I asked her if she thought it would be okay for me to share this here, and she said that was okay with her. So thank you for letting me share. You said you wanted to find similarities in different people's stories, and maybe someone has gone through something similar. If you find anyone who has, please email me back to tell me about it. Thank you. This was a very interesting story. I would like to thank this woman for sharing her encounter with all of us. So what do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other videos. I'm currently working on the next video now. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you back. Have a great day.